Hello, gorgeous soul friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Hannah. Welcome to Moza's channel, and it's such an honor to be a part of your wondrous earth experience today. So we're going to be discussing the wonderful imagination and how it is the catalyst for creating everything that you experience in your life. I often hear people talking about how they don't consider themselves to be creative, but the truth is every single one of us is a creative being. And that aspect of creation manifests differently for every single one of us. So some people like to build things, cars, computers, gadgets, while others like to express creatively through music. They like to sing, or they like to dance, or they like to play an instrument, or they like to write music. Other people like to write poetry or short stories. Some like to paint or draw. There are so many mediums for creation to express itself within the human collective. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I don't think that it's really correct for anyone to say that they are not inherently a creative being. We are all doing things, minor things, minuscule things on our day-to-day that we may not perceive of as creation. But ultimately, the whole of our life is creation. And that's really the foundation for these teachings of manifestation. They root themselves in the fundamentals of our creative imagination. So the rule of thumb with manifestation is that if you want something, you need to give it to yourself in your imagination first and foremost. So before you can have something in the material experience, it must be a thought form in your mind. It must be perceived of within your imagination. Some people aren't visionaries. They have a hard time visualizing things in their mind, but they may have an easier time creating the sense of smell, or creating a sound within their mind, or creating the feeling of what it may be like to have that experience. Others use things like words. My writers out there, my poets, people who are verbally expressive, can use things like I am statements to help create something within their imagination. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imaginary. And this is why things like anxiety and stress can be so deadly, because your body physically responds to things that you are creating within your mind. Anxious thoughts, negative perceptions. But this can also happen on the flip side as well, with things that we deem as positive. So as easily as you can create a negative experience in your mind and work yourself up about a negative experience in your mind, you can also do the same with positive experiences. One could argue that the imagination is actually the real world, and that this reality is just the shadow cast by the imagination. It's kind of like when you look at a prism that light passes through. You are the prism in which your imaginative experiences are filtered and created in the material world. So everything starts in the imaginative realm. It's a realm. It's a real place. Everything that's happening in your imagination is happening in another dimension. But eventually, with enough intent and enough attention, it densifies and it becomes more and more solid until it drops into this physical, very dense 3D experience. So that's why some things take time, because the 3D is an incredibly dense realm, and the imagination realm is a lot more etheric. Like, for those of you who are proficient at lucid dreaming, for example, you may find that things manifest instantly in the dream realm. You think about them and they're there, because everything is much more immaterial. Everything is a lot more etheric in that realm. And your imagination realm is the dream realm. It's really the dream realm that you're tapping into while you're awake. You could visualize it like a dial on a radio. Anytime you daydream, or anytime you go to sleep, you're tuning that dial into a different dimension. You're tuning your consciousness into a different dimension, and you're perceiving of that dimension with your nervous system. Your nervous system is translating the frequencies from that dimension into your sensory experience. And that's why some dreams can feel so real. And then when you wake up, or when you come out of your daydreaming state, you tune back into your material body, or the physical experience that you have on the day-to-day.